Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney, Turney in the dirt.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to Indy Kart and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
All the way up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? It's Sean Perez who wins in Crescent.
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in K100 Junior.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here. Told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Kart.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Welcome back, everyone, to today's action as we get started for the Indy Karting Challenge and its heat races. A happy day continues on as we begin our heats. Remember, 5 minutes plus 2 up on the board for these drivers for this afternoon's action. The micros start things off this afternoon, followed by the minis, the 206 medium and juniors. Then it's K Senior and Masters, 206 Legends and Supermasters. And the run through. Justin Prince alongside Taylor Burris with you as we get ready to go racing. 3 karts on track for our first class of the day here, Taylor. Not that big, but these 3 drivers have a lot to prove, especially the front 2. Fox and Wyatt, should say, ready to battle it out. 6/10 was their separation in qualifying. 1 and 2 Diesel Maxwell, the other of these drivers, Taylor.
Absolutely. It's going to be exciting to watch these two battle it out amongst themselves here. But don't forget, Diesel could be in there in the mix as well if the opportunity presents itself. So keep an eye on him as well as they work their way through. Got 1 warm-up lap, and then we will turn them loose for the next 5 minutes plus 2 laps.
A fun time gets started here for these drivers as we get rolling with the action. It's going to be a question as we get set to go racing. Drivers just getting themselves zipped around and ready to rumble. Before the clock rolls, remember they get 1 warm-up lap before they get to racing, and then they get themselves underway for these competitors. So here we go. Fox, almost Wyatt, and Maxwell. And I think at least 1 driver was out of the tram lines, but we're underway. Already Maxwell attacking for the race lead. Instead, having to fight hard for second. Maxwell with a great start.
Really good jump right there for Maxwell as he will move up into the 2nd place for him. And he already has his sights set to try to go chase down your race leader, James Fox. But he's got a little bit of work to do.
That's an understatement right now to be able to close up by 5 kart lengths already in 4.5 minutes. Easier said than done, right? Well, we've seen how difficult it's been to be able to claw your way forward in these types of races here this weekend with some of these battles. So, take an eye and see how far things go and how far they come in terms of their charge. Right now, it's going to be the matter, though, on can Maxwell chip away? Remember, Maxwell didn't have the best of qualifying runs. Grayson White has not had a great run so far in this race compared to what we've seen earlier. In fact, that 5 has fallen off compared to earlier.
Certainly seems to be the case here as the field works their way through. And now we see Wyatt starting to close in on this battle here as they come up towards the top back straightaway, and we will have a battle for second.
Battles are indeed on here. Question is, can Wyatt find his way around? I feel like Maxwell keeps changing the color of that helmet each week every time we've seen him. I know he likes that mohawk to stand out on the racetrack compared to some of the others. Brings a little bit of that fun factor we talk about each time we see that helmet wherever racetrack he seems to go. And right now he seems to be maintaining by about 1/10 or so, despite that resistance probably from that helmet.
I think it's safe to say every karting event that we cover here on Kart Chaser, we always find that one driver who's got to be unique and different with the Mohawk track or the Mohawk helmet, and he is doing his best he can there with that Lando Norris kart.
Yeah. Keep an eye on this battle. Fox, by the way, has checked out almost 2 seconds, if not 2 seconds already. Hence why we're keeping an eye on these two on the racetrack. By the way, for those wondering about the weather conditions, it's now around its peak, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Already 3 o'clock at the racetrack this afternoon has been zipping on by for these competitors, to say the very least. And as this afternoon goes, how will that impact the race, knowing it's going to be hot the rest of the day?
It's going to get a little bit greasy out there for the drivers in these tracks here. And as they work their way around the circuit, here comes Grayson Wyatt. You see how much sliding that we see Diesel doing. That's going to be a little bit difficult for them for handling at the moment. So that's going to have to be careful with how much they're going to utilize those tires, because we still got to use those sets of tires for the feature.
Yes, we do. We got to make sure those rubber tires are able to hold it out, to say the very least here. With the weather conditions, with how things have gone here today. So we continue to keep an eye and see what these drivers now do with 1:10 to work with on the board. Separations now really picking up between those two as Fox, he's in cruise control. It's like earlier today, Fox is doing exactly what he's done all day. Drive to big leads and never look back.
Trying to see what happens here, but Fox is continuing to set the pace. Diesel Maxwell doing a great job as well so far. I'm curious to see if this is going to play out big time, and Grayson Wyatt's going to be struggling right here.
Yeah, curious of that myself right now, how this is going to go. But still have 2 more laps coming up to go. Likely we'll have to see what they get at the flag stand, as there's that battle for second once again. Wyatt now within a kart length. It was up to 5 before. Maxwell starting to take a little bit more shallower lines on the corner entries to play defensive here. 3 to go. Appears to be the signal. No motion for the flag stand. So they'll battle it out for 3 more times around Taylor.
Well, we'll see what happens here as we get the 3 to go signal. And then as we keep an eye on this action. Oh, trouble for the 5 of Wyatt. Did he just overshoot the corner? He thankfully no contact to the barrier. But he loses all that time to Diesel Maxwell. So Maxwell's just got to keep it clean, and he can get himself a second place position here in this heat race.
Double sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. In display now. 2 more times around. As right now, James Fox, you say if we give him the checker flag as long as the card holds up here. How his afternoon is gone, looking at the double podium day. Fox goes fast indeed here today. Comes to his pace. Just 1 more lap coming up to go in this one. And what's been a sporty day for James Fox. For those who have tuned in, he dominated this morning's action as well. 1 more time around, white flag is out. Final time for Fox.
I mean, James Fox, top kart, looking to take home another victory here today. And I got to say, for James, I'm looking forward to seeing him compete in some of the highest echelons of motorsports in the near future, because this kid here and with top kart can be a dangerous combination here in the future when it comes to racing at regionals or national levels.
Here we go, checker flag coming up. The gap even bigger than this morning's heat race. James Fox takes the checker flag and wins in Micro Swift. A dominant start to the day for the Micro Swift category for James Fox. Does so by 8 seconds, the winning margin. Grayson Wyatt rounding out the drivers in the field in our first race of the day. Not bad, to say the very least, if you're James Fox. Really good for Diesel Maxwell to go to leapfrog after not looking good at qualifying. Now, we get ready for the minis. The minis ready to zip onto the track soon. Remember, Martinez, the points leader in that series, and he is the pole sitter, followed by Lee Semenelic, followed by Ari Berger. Then it's Christopher Heinzen and Jackson Jessup, rounding out the lineup of drivers as they get the command to go. It's time to set them free. You're free to go racing.
Absolutely, Justin. They are free to go at it and put on a good show for all of us here tuning in.
It's been a beautiful day, I will say, for racing, as we talked about earlier on today. The funny thing is that comes to mind is one of the first times broadcasting here was the B race. For those who remember, when there was a hornet's nest in those tire barriers. Nothing like that today, thankfully, for the drivers to deal with. But so far, it's been fun to see how these drivers race it out here amongst this racetrack.
Yeah, it really is. And also, it's just amazing how this facility is, Justin. I mean, with all the different configurations that these drivers can utilize to learn not just certain basic karting needs, but also different technical sections. That's what makes pretty much this track, along with several other tracks up here in the Midwest region, so unique compared to some of the other circuits we would see down here in the Southeast or here in Texas per se, because of the unique terrain that this track provides. As we get ourselves ready to go racing here in this tram line, and we are off for the next 5 minutes plus 2 laps.
We're underway as Martinez gets a great launch. The battle is on for third, but it's squabbling. Heinzen back there with Berger. But a good launch for Semenelic to be able to put himself right into the tire tracks of the race leader. Top two have pulled away now by a couple kart lengths. Berger still keeping up a little bit with them though too. Not a great launch for Heinzen. Heinzen falling all the way back to fourth and then some as a result of how his race started. But the top two look to be zipping, and we're hearing a jump start. Martinez jump start called.
That is not going to be good there. That will cost him some valuable positioning, possibly even the win, depending on if it's a time penalty start or it's going to be a position loss start here. So we'll see how it plays out for him at the end, but a tough break indeed for Blake Martinez.
So now we'll have to really see how this goes. If he leaves on the track, you won't know about that probably for the next bit here. But this is great news if you're in the 187 camp. That's great news for those looking for an entertaining final, to say the very least, on the positive note. But this is why timing up the start is so important. You have to wait until you get the command to go. You can't just say, oh, it's a start zone. It's my control of things. That may be how it works in stock car racing in a restart zone, but not on the initial start either in that case either.
Absolutely, that is the case here, and we are going to see how this all plays out as they come across the line. 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and Martinez already checked out to an 0.8 of a second lead. Berger sits third. Semenelic just trying to stay within a grasp of Blake Martinez, so that way possibly he could unofficially receive the heat win, depending on the penalty that the Blake Martinez will be divvied out to with regards to that jump start penalty.
Yeah, keep an eye on live timing right now to see if there's going to be any indication here. It's going to be definitely something we'll keep track of if they have that on the timesheets on how much that penalty will be here. In that case, got that heads up from our wonderful crew at the racetrack. Trevor Blue leading the way amongst the many different staff members today here on Kart Chaser. But all this is with, they're still looking to potentially second. No matter how you put it here, if there's a jump start, if it's 5 seconds, everyone, the worst you can finish is fifth, right? It's still a recoverable total. We've seen Martinez do it. It's just right now Martinez is trying to geek this out as much as possible. The bigger the gap the more helpful it's going to be in the overall interval where he's going to start for the final in theory.
Yeah, it is, but it's also still he's got the pace for it by the looks of it, and by how his pace is going. Now, if it's a 5-second penalty, it's 4th position where he will finish so far because he's continuing to stretch that. He may even stretch that to where he could be starting in P3 as big slide right there. I believe that's Berger who was able to gather it back up. So if he plays his cards right and gets a good enough finish ahead, he could still have a very good starting position for the feature race today.
1 minute to go on the clock here coming up. So we keep an eye on these drivers. Right now, Heinzen still more than a second back of Berger. You still have Jessup, who is more than a second just about back of Heinzen. Everyone all spread apart on this racetrack. The gap for the top two now 5 seconds itself. That's pretty significant for how things could get sorted here. Keep an eye and see, as you see, Berger really starting to bleed time. As Jessup starting to try and pick up some time. We're saying Ari earlier today. Race in the other classes looked very competitive. Talked about him also racing in the Music City Kartplex's facilities in recent times. On top of things, has been a very busy driver in the top cart. And we have a cart off.
That looks to be Jessup, maybe 62. Yep, he is off on the track. He will try to get himself refired. He's looped around right as they come off that exit on the back straightaway, so in not a good position as they will get 3 laps to go.
Yes, indeed, coming to 2 to go this time around. What do you think is going through Martinez's mind here with how big of this gap he's built up now? Just continuing to just push.
I mean, that's what you need to do. Trying to find a way if you can be able to still maintain this heat race victory, or at least on the front row, because right now that's where he's going to be starting, on the front row with Leah Simonelik. And we know for a fact, as long as he keeps it clean on this next start for him when he goes for the feature race later, everything should be good for him to where he could basically repeat.
Coming up to the white flag this time by for this field. Should be final time around now for Martinez. If he can outrace the jump start, that'd be amazing for him right now. He's nearly gotten into that position. Martinez taking the white flag this time by. We'll see what the interval is between him and the 187. 3.9. It's close to what
he's got a.
And I'm just basing this on potential of 5. We'll have to wait for the official number, but Martinez has been able to put up a stellar amount of speed. If he keeps this up in the final, he might be the one to watch if he ends up getting relegated to more like a 10-second or more. So we'll get that confirmation to you as soon as possible, what it may be. But Martinez sets the tone. He'll take the checker flag on track. There's his black flag to go. It is 3 seconds. We just received confirmation. He'll still get the win with 3 seconds.
And it's officially 4.6 seconds his advantage. So honestly, as Berger has an issue dropping back as Christopher Heinzen drops up to P3, I kind of wish they would just let him just start tail end Charlie and let him work his way through the field. Give Blake a little bit of a challenge.
Yes, indeed. Martinez able to outrun his own penalty. Simonelik in second, Heinzen in third, Berger in fourth. Ended up losing the spot at the end, and Jessup was a DNF. That's all top to bottom of that running order for this field. It's time to go back to the 206s. It's time to go back to the seniors, and it's time to go back to the Brandon Haber show. It's time to see how the mediums play out now for their field. Here's how they'll start. Brandon Haber and Evan McCorkadale going back and forth a little bit potential here between those two in the front row. Nicholas Nossman and Cami Pfister, the top four. Then it's Purple and Taylor in row 3, Goldman and Williams in row 4, and Mike Davis rounds out the field. Of note, J. Brian Williams and Mike Davis did not put up official times in the last quali session. Looks to be 6 strong, ready to get the command to go out the gate here. Hebert looking to try and get the double top step on the podium day, like many of the others here in his number 8 kart. It's going to be interesting where the competitiveness lies for that 8 machine. But McCorkindale could make things very tough in race conditions for that 8 machine. Taylor.
Heber has always been a favorite here. He is definitely looking to try to go for the trifecta as well. And I got to say, McCorkindale will put on a fight for him. But it's going to be a fight between these two from start to finish, because it's only going to be the only reason I have to say that Heber won the second race was because McCorkindale didn't even start it. So McCorkindale is now going to go back at it once again, and these two are going to slug it out for this heat race and final. I'm excited about seeing these two go at it.
I think I am as well, as we're currently waiting, I think, potentially for some cleanup here. Just be a few moments here before those karts get rolling, as some of the other competitors for the 206 Juniors also lay their karts out for good measure here. It allows some time for those at the back of the shed to line up and join the grid, it looks like, at least, as they'll take the opportunity to take the roll up to the rest of their competitors. These drivers originally scheduled for 3:19, so we are on a small little delay here on the racetrack. So, how do you think this battling is going to play out? How are you going to set up the passes today if you're amongst these drivers in this field?
Well, honestly, I mean, for someone like McCorkindale, as well as also for Heber, it's all about just continuing foot on the gas, but also maintaining, having enough to make it towards that feature race, because there is no change in tires. You pretty much is a one run what you brung type deal when it comes to your tires. You make adjustments if need be in between sessions, but as far as the tires, it's all about taking care of that equipment and making sure you can get it to the end.
That's the huge question right now for these drivers. To find out how they do things. As it looks like they're just waiting for the command to go. And here we go. Field now rolls onto the racetrack. 206 medium now hits the circuit for their heat race. Taylor. Rumble of the engines as they make their way around the racetrack. So we'll see what happens. Is there somebody you're keeping an eye on outside of those front two, Taylor, for this race that you're hoping to see potentially move up based on your experiences here with the series?
Possibly. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out with this group. But as they work their way through, Justin, I'm going to see how this all plays out. Hopefully, no penalties will be given for the start of this.
It's a key word. That was our first penalty of the day last race, by the way. We haven't really seen penalties come out for any of the classes throughout the day, except for the last one. But now it's time to go racing. 206 medium, all set to go as they make their way through the tram lines. Green flag is out and we're underway. Heber with a good launch. Will they move ahead and clear the rest of the field? Off and away, McCorkindale already getting swarmed by traffic.
Big issues right here for McCorkadale as he tries to gather as a couple of karts get together off corner exit in the final corner. Here they come across the line. Heber. Nossman moves up to second with McCorkadale in third.
Nossman having a good start to this one, but this is perfect for Heber to run away from the rest of the pack. The gap already growing in contact. 9 and 51. Taylor and Pfister spin around. That cost them all their time on the racetrack. Side by side for second. McCorkadale sends it up the inside, makes the move, and shuffles Nossman back to third spot with the pass.
Field now works their way through, but keeping an eye, Evan McCorkadale is trying to hold off the 573 of Nossman as McCorkadale gets back into second place. He's got 1.4 seconds though to make up.
That's a lot of time you have to make up in a 2:06 though, Taylor. It's very difficult to close it up just on raw pace. You need the track position in the first place. That's going to be difficult.
It really is, and I'm curious to see how McCorkadale can overcome this. That's where his only downside is that the fact that he's got that long run pace, which I know he could probably make up some time as we see it actually happening right now. But that start is what's going to be concerning for me when we get into the features.
Yeah, got absolutely swarmed from that outside line with the pass immediately by Nossman. Nossman last time by him, 46.7. 3/10 quicker last time by McCorkadale was compared to your race leader. But remember, Heber is a long run driver in that 8 kart. We've seen that throughout the 206s when we've seen the lengths earlier today. Usually is about even, if not a little slower than those in the battle. Then by around the 4-5 minute mark is when the kart just turns on in his case.
It really does, Justin, and we will see this play out. Right now, the gap is 1.2 seconds between the two of them, and McCorkadale ran the fastest lap of the race so far. Just as I say that, it goes back into the favor of Braden Heber.
Yeah, just continuing to swing a little bit back and forth when it comes to these momentum swings. Taylor, by the way, made a pass on Davis on the racetrack. Remember, those two were involved in incidents earlier on in the race. 1.3 seconds last time by the interval. Under 2 minutes to work with for the 8 kart over McCorkadale. And right now, I think that long run pace starting to kick in because last time by was a purple sector. What will the lap here come around to be? How about a 44.56? But responded back from McCorkadale again in the 4s. McCorkadale is quick, but not quick enough to close up.
Yeah, he is not having enough to gain here and running out of time with 1.5 minutes plus 2 to go. He can try to pick up some pace here, but he's not going to have enough to maybe make a pass set for him and Heber as they head down the back straightaway. There you see McCorkadale as they head into the first of 2 hairpins, switching over to the next one, and he's got some pace, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, Nossman by himself right there, along with Purpo, as those two are just trying to plug along some laps here. There you see the 573 holding the 3rd position in that MPG Kart Republic.
40 seconds to go on the clock now. See that machine right there you were talking about. Nossman, I think, going to have to go back to the drawing board here, but hey, Hoodie Strawn is looking very stellar on the leaderboard here today. Also to give a shout out to the 22 machine of Burpo. Talked about this earlier on. That machine raising awareness for one of their friends that has cancer with that hashtag. Now, the reason you may also wonder, how does someone get a hashtag on the scoring pylon? Well, Purple is one of the track managers and one of the main officials for some of the racing in the region of Indiana for karting. So he does have some of the experience and, of course, has the cause to give the reason why that's the case. Now, 3 laps to go in the session. Under a second, McCorkindale is. Now for the race lead, Nossman is comfortable in this 3rd spot for this race. So we get ready to turn some laps towards the end. 2 to go coming up.
Here they come through. McCorkindale's picking up. He said fast lap, and he is really trying to pressure his way through to catch up to Heber, but it might be too little too late. He's going to have a mistake from Heber, who's been just hitting his marks perfectly from start to finish as they come. He picked up about half a tenth there. That's not enough to make it work as they snake their way through the S's. Big run coming through. But Heber just keeps it planted and keeps that cart going in the right direction in order to continue on through. No other changes happening for the moment inside the top 5 as we watch this battle for the race lead in your 206 medium.
McCorkindale showing potential for the final. Let's talk about it that way. Coming up to 1 lap to go. He's kind of showcasing that McCorkindale might have the speed long run to make things dicey again between these two. 7 tenths the difference, just under 8 tenths in fact for the white flag lap. Heber works his way through the opening corners. They might reach lap traffic here in Davis. Shouldn't be too much of a factor, but Heber just needs to keep it on the track to finish things out strong. McCorkindale pushing as mightily as he can here to close it out. Lap traffic at Davis moves out of the way. No issue, as this will bring us to the checker flag. Brendan Heber come out of the final turns. Brendan Heber will take the checker flag and win the heat race in 206 medium. McCorkindale comes away second, Nossman third, Hoodie Strawn in 4, Pfister, Goldman, Taylor, and Davis. The way they run, Taylor, that shows a lot of potential for McCorkindale to put up a great battle with Heber for the final laps, maybe in the final if he gets a good start.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see how this all plays out here amongst the two of them, because McCorkindale was closing. If he had maybe those extra 5 minutes, that could have been the help that he needed to go and chase down Heber.
Absolutely. You can say all it was the start that cost McCorkindale a chance at the pre-final. Gates are opening up. It's time to go racing. It's time for 206 Junior to hit the track for their turn to prove what they can do. Remember, Evan Patton, top of the standings there. It's going to be Jordan Lapham who leads things off over Evan Patton. Carson Benjamin in third. Nico Santos in fourth. Nolan Wade is your top 5. Parker Dunn, Maxim Kalibi, and then it's Maximus Stewart who rounds out the field. Should be a bit more. It should be very tight, I was about to say. Your top 4, in fact, were separated by 4/10 of a second in qualifying, Taylor.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight battle for the KA senior, or actually the 206 junior. Sorry, I was looking at the timing a little wrong right there. But these 206 juniors, Lapin, who struggled, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. He had a little issues in the KA junior category earlier, but I think he's going to have what it takes to be a front runner here in the 206 juniors. We'll see what he can do.
Have to keep an eye on how this goes for this field. 206 Junior, ready to rumble for 5 more minutes of racing, plus 2 laps. Green flag is out underway. Lapham does not get the best of starts. Patton kept alongside him. Patton zips to the lead. Lapham getting bounced around. 2 and 3 wide in the middle of the field as the 34th Santos got squished into the grass for a moment.
He certainly did, but they're able to keep it clean at the moment. Not as we are green flag, but Patton, Benjamin, and Lapham, your top 3 now as they sort themselves out pretty much from second on back, but Patton trying to pull away from the competition.
Patton pushing hard, nearly grip rolled that time by. As the battle is on truly for second. Benjamin Lapham pushing hard. Lapham looking, pulls alongside. He wants his second spot back. Up the inside, makes the move. Cut back by Benjamin to the outside. Doesn't work out. The 112 retakes second pretty quickly.
Certainly agree here as we watch on. Patton tries to pull away further. Benjamin as Lapham holds that second spot now. Nico Santos, Parker Dunn also right there in hot contention for that third position with Carson Benjamin.
And the work is now on to be able to close up the gap. It's already closed up by a quarter of the distance. Now near half of that distance. Lapham is pushing hard to be able to get back up there. Needs to get within 6 kart lengths to be able to pounce for the race lead here. Santos, by the way, holding on. Dunn in the top 5, was able to move up 1 spot compared to his grid slot so far. 3 minutes to work with on the clock. Lapham has closed another 2 kart lengths this lap. Make it 3.
He is under 0.2 of a second. He picked up half a second in time last time by. Patton now needs to be careful. One small bump right here, and it is game over for him for the race lead. As that new gen kart shows the nose, couldn't quite get to the inside fully, but has a good run out heading towards the back straightaway with a bit of a toke helping him work his way through. Does he try hit the hairpin? Not close enough, but he could set up for a crossover.
Could try and set things up easily for the cross. Now he goes all the way to the back end of Patton. Will he try and go for the lead immediately? Lapham instead likes to ride, try and push Patton for now. Stays on behind with 2 minutes to work with on the clock. He's got him right where he wants him, but Benjamin is there in case either of them battle too much here. A lot of time lost for Lapham. Did not get a good run through 3 and 4.
Yeah, it sounded like that kart bogged down a little bit right there. That's going to cause some issues. And now he's got to find the way to get that momentum wound back up for him in order to keep that throttle in motion in order for him to go catch back up to Evan Patton.
Yeah, needs to get back on the prowl to close up for certain. 2-3 kart lengths, still the distance once again. 90 seconds up on the board as there's separation at the stripe. Lapham nearly 3 wheels it through turn 2 as they work their way through some of the Reiner liner built up now in these tight corners. Lapham trying to go a lot more tighter, gained a fair bit of ground to bite into the gap of Patton. Still not enough to pounce yet, and that's the thing. He seems to be hitting a brick wall on his progression right now.
Yeah, he's now got a little bit too much of that where he's not able to find the momentum to make the pass. He's got the help from Benjamin, but the problem is with all of that, it is preventing him from just getting around and finding that opening, because if he tucks in, he can't really gain any ground, but if he's tucked out, he's then losing the chance of making the pass or worrying about getting passed by Carson Benjamin as Parker Dunn gets around Nico Santos for the 4th position. Here we go, right here.
Yeah, got a little bit dicey for second. Evan Patton once again builds a cushion, and that's exactly what Evan Patton wants. More fighting back and forth amongst these drivers to keep on the shuffling and continue to fight and race along. The more they fight for second, the more this helps Patton's case. Now, Lapham with a good run to get right back up to Patton as the hand signals come out, coming up now to 3, 2, 1. Will we get 2 to go? Yes, we will.
2 laps to go for Evan Patton, Lapham, and Benjamin here as these 3 will try to jockey around for position. What does Lapham do? We know he tries to cut the corner as best he can right here and stay low. Does he follow and let it come out, track out a little bit more? No, he tries to make it shorter around that track corner in order to gain ground, but it seems like he struggles right there and not gets the run he needs like he is right now.
Coming up to the, pardon me, coming up to the white flag, Benjamin sends it on through. able to make the pass, and that moves the 98 into second with that move. Back and forth. That's exactly what Patton wants to see with the white flag waving. They're fighting more for second than they are for the race lead. Benjamin has a bit of contact. Latham pushes his way on to second, and now the gap is potentially insurmountable, to say the least here.
And it's safe to say it's now going to be a battle for second between Benjamin and Latham. Benjamin trying to find his way back around Latham, but it's going to be close. He'll now have to try to bob and weave his way around the competition and find that opening. But for Patton, smooth sailing. Got a little bit of breathing room right now as here comes Benjamin to the inside, moves Latham out of the way.
Once again, getting a little bit of roughhousing for second. Oh, this is wow. The Fishers, Indiana-based driver, Evan Patton, will take the win. Strike race for second. Latham got the edge by 7 1/1000ths of a second. How about that? Phenomenal finish, Patton, Latham, Benjamin, the top three done, and Santos the top five. Wade, Stewart, and then Clevey, the 8 positions as they run on the racetrack. That was phenomenal, Taylor.
Absolutely phenomenal finish between Latham and Benjamin. But these three right here, him, Patton, and Benjamin, if they could just, for Latham and Benjamin, if they cannot fight each other too hard when it's time for that final few moments and not lose track of Patton, it will be a really fun race between the two of them. But now it's time for the KA Senior Master Division. Of course, only one KA Master driver out there, but still wants to go out there and try to race with the young guns.
We'll see those drivers now hit the racetrack for their race. Earlier on today, we've seen the qualifying session. Breakout for KA Masters and KA Senior. Nelson was the only master driver. Austin Old set the pole earlier with 40.7 over Lane Gibbs. Then you have Blake Fidley, followed by Raider Santos, Dan Van Dyke, Macy Galen, and then Kevin Samanelik for the 7 in the KA Senior class. A lot of these drivers still having to group up here and get ready to go here. Can anybody compete with Austin Olds is the question. I mean, that's the goal, to be able to see if they can keep up with one of the top drivers from Stars at Charlotte Motor Speedway just a few weeks ago. And as you can see, he's towards the tail. It looks like into the pack. We're underway. The field rumbles its way to the corner. Olds already trying to work from the outside to get around some of these karts.
He's already got a good jump right here as they go through the final couple of corners to start the opening lap. And so far, it is going to be smooth sailing for Austin Olds as he leads the field across the line. And it looks like Olds drops back to P4. Gibbs holding now strong. So I'll have to double check that because I see Austin Olds leading the charge.
That's Gibbs. Olds is in the black cart.
Yep, I see him right there now.
He did not have a penalty. Can confirm. Was just checking the race heat grid sheets. He did not have anything that was recorded in the penalties. He just elected to start in the pack, I think, or got sorted out in the pack. And now he's really testing himself. Already up to third. Going to have to gain a couple seconds here to get up to Gibbs and Finley.
He's going to have a little bit of work to do as they cross the line. The gap between Austin Olds is 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, that gap likely could go down very quickly. 42.2 to start things off. Fastest lap was Finley as some side-by-side battling fares out behind them. That's Galen and Santos starting to spar out a little bit. Some hand signals to try and stay in a line to work together. However, every time I ask a driver with experience about the hand signals, Taylor, they say, usually that's a sign for me to just say, I'm going to pass you if you give me a signal.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Because, like, you know, we see some drivers give a little tap on the helmet, like saying, hey, work with me. What usually happens? The driver who tries to work with him ends up passing said driver pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Finley and
1.2
Gibbs, these two are going at it.
Yeah, those two starting to spar out. Paul is getting a jump start. Just received the note. That would have been, believe, Lane Gibbs in that case. So we have a jump start situation for your pole sitter car for this race. So our second black flag of the day, Taylor.
That's a 3-second penalty right there. So for right now, that would move Lane Gibbs to P3 at the moment.
And look at this. Old is already there. He's within a second. He's in drafting distance now in these KA karts. It's within 5 kart lengths in the battle for what will likely now be the net lead on track, coming to 2 minutes to go in this one. Olds lines things up. Now tries to find his way around Finley. Finley plays well for now, single file. Olds keeps him on edge.
Keeps putting that power down, trying to keep everything wound up here. Here comes Olds to set up for a run down the back straightaway on Blake Finley. As they head down through, he's going to try to see if he can keep that pace going. And not able to do anything this time. Tries to send it in deep. Oh, so close to making contact with Finley. Crosses him over, gets to the inside, finally completes the pass.
Able to make the move. Olds up to what may potentially be for the win. Now keep in mind, 3 seconds last time by a race leader was able to be stretched out at the end. However, Lane Gibbs is in a much different situation with Olds being much more rapid in terms of pace with a minute to work with here on the board. It's going to be very difficult, to say the very least. Of note, Nelson is racing on the racetrack in the Masters. He is the only Master kart in the field today. He has made a pass to be able to get himself to 7th at the very least. As Gallion and Van Dyke are battling on screen. Van Dyke nearly runs him over, goes for a send. Van Dyke getting all sorts of archie-bargy there.
Absolutely, and here comes Joshua Nelson right there in the mix as well, looking to see if he can pick up a couple of positions overall. And we're going to have another lap, so 3 laps to go for Gibbs, Olds, and Finley.
1.3 seconds the gap between first and second, by the way, is the interval, coming to 2 laps to go for the field. As the second pack continues to stay strangled along here in terms of distance. That send really setting Van Dyke forward, with Galen really falling back. Nelson not close enough to be able to lunge ahead right now. 2 laps confirmed up on the board. Final 2 laps to go. Last time by, Austin Olds, by the way, was near 2/10 quicker than the race leader, Lane Gibbs, who has a jump start.
Gibbs trying to do everything he can to hold on here, but as we watch this battle further back between Santos, Van Dyke, and Galen, they are putting on a stellar fight amongst themselves. As here comes your race leaders to get the white flag. One more time around, Lane Gibbs, half a second ahead of Austin Olds.
Final time around, Olds showing why he's one of the top drivers in the nation with how much he's been able to close in that kart. 40.245 last time by, fastest kart on the racetrack. Not close enough for a lunge. He's trying it though. He tried to lunge it from 5 kart lengths deep. Nearly made it work. Now it's within 1. Gibbs trying to hold on the track. But it's Austin Olds who will get the net win. Again, jump start pole, but Gibbs holds on in front of Olds on track.
How about that? And a 40.245 for his fastest lap of the race right there. But it's Gibbs, Olds. Olds should receive the win, though, in the heat race due to that jump start penalty. Blake Finley, Santos, Galen. Nelson wins in your KA Masters, Simonellic, and Dane Van Dyke who will finish in 8th.
Look top to bottom at KA Masters and KA Senior for its heat race. And now that brings us into our last race on the card for our heats. 206 Supermaster, 206 Legends. And this should be a fun time. J. Brian Williams leading the way for this field over William McLaughlin. You see those drivers on the front row. Danny Cutshaw and Tom Stevens, followed by Joseph Stevens and Jason Irvin. Then Richard Lemasters, Chris Whitaker. Mark Cirque rounds out the running order here today. The field now making its way onto the racetrack to be able to sort itself out. Remember, these two classes are essentially jumbled together here for this upcoming start.
Well, I released them a little bit early right here. It's 3:49, and they were supposed to be released at 3:52, so great on everyone. Go ahead and just get set to be ready racing.
Yes, indeed. So, J. Brian Williams was a second quicker, remember, in qualifying. The question is that going to happen in the race? We've seen how quick he's been whenever he's been on the racetrack here today, it seems.
Looking through to see, as here comes the rest of the field. I was wondering, I know we have a couple of more drivers out there. But as the field works their way through, it's 6 karts with 2 Legends drivers and 4 Supermasters. I know there's a few more out there.
Yeah, there's more than that total, I think. I think some of the drivers
at
still
least there's
catching
about
on.
9.
Yes. There's the 9th. So they make their way up to join the tram line. And green flag waves underway as we are rolling our way through the hairpins. Good start up at the front of the field for J. Brian Williams. Williams able to already build up 5-6 kart lanes as he makes his way down the front straightaway.
Across the line here to kick off this 5-minute race, and Williams already just putting on a good show right here. He's got about half a second advantage over Danny Cutshaw, as Cutshaw is your leader in the Supermasters division as he is under pressure from Joseph Stevens.
Now we work to see how they really separate out Cutshaw. Having a great start to this race, as you just said. It's going to be important for Cutshaw to maintain that gap, if not grow it. We've seen him and McLaughlin trade lap times in qualifying, after all. Already Stevens having some great momentum to be able to make his way by. McLaughlin did not get a good launch at all. If you break it on down, McLaughlin the wrong direction.
Yeah, McLaughlin's dropping significantly. Already lost 2 spots after starting on the front row. But how about Stevens picking up those 2 spots as well? Throw in Matt Kirk, who's also picked up 2 spots at the start of the race.
You see those two working together here with 3 minutes and 23 seconds to go on the board. These drivers try and finish out the heats in style, say the very least. William McLaughlin still trying to sort his way ahead. McLaughlin, the American, a long time ago raced in a lot of different national races. If you look back,
oh, trouble right here.
Oh no, and that involves Stevens at the flag stand.
Tom Stevens looping it around right there on the front straightaway. He's okay, but he had a little bit of a hard hit there to the back bumper and to the as way his neck went as he hit that barrier right there.
Yeah, very awkward spot to spin around, to say the very least. Right at the start and finish line, where drivers normally take to the inside line. But We continue on racing with about 2 minutes to work with. J. Brian Williams, you see him having to adapt his line a little bit as a result of that Kart at the flag stand. Overall, 3 seconds the difference between him and the rest of the field. Now, talking about Danny Cutshaw, in terms of his background, another new gen machine. New gen very busy here at this racetrack when it comes to their speed. Home track essentially for that team. Right now, that orange machine continues on with the pace to be able to set the tone. We talked about the partnership earlier this morning with Kart's HAASE in terms of the spelling as they relaunch in the U.S. market. That was originally started with the Route 66 Sprint Series at K1 Circuit Whiteland just last month, where they basically debut brand new karts for that program and the return to the United States in the market.
Yeah, it's great to see what New Gen has been able to do, and so far they had some really good runs so far this season in a couple of different divisions, so curious to see how much more development that the team will do in order to continue progressing in order to bring this New Gen model to not just here in the regional area, but also possibly nationally.
Yes, indeed, a chance to be able to grow things, to say the very least. Still under a minute to work with in this race. Now, this kart's chassis is an Italian brand, for those curious. In terms of background, they do a lot of OKJ karts in terms of Brickstrata chassis, some Rotex chassis, a Bomber MIDI karts available, as well as a bunch of rental cars that you can have for that respective brand. They've been around for a little while. The history, they're just now getting back to the U.S. after their history. So, coming up to 2 laps to go for the field. Race leader J. Brian Williams still controls things as we see some of the other drivers just race along the track, get comfortable with the circuit for later on today. The temperatures should come down a little bit from here. The peak today, after all, is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. It's expected to start to drop in the near future as it becomes all cloudy skies. You see the cloud cover, rather the sky is turned into a gray cloudish cover in some areas.
Yeah, behind the track right there, as we saw on that one camera, it is just a gray, gloomy look. But out here, as you looked off of this camera here on the main stretch of the circuit, it just looks a little bit more of a light blue. So it looks like some clouds are starting to roll in.
Slowly but surely rolling into the picture, but J. Brian Williams, he's been rolling around this racetrack. More than 6 seconds in this race. Final time around, a dominant performance, Taylor, from the 75.
One more time around for the 75 of Brian Williams, all by his lonesome. And then, of course, for Danny Cutshaw in the Supermasters division, looking to take home the win there, as he has just about a 1.8 second lead over William McLaughlin.
Interesting race to say the very least here today, but J. Brian Williams puts up a dominating performance. He takes the heat race victory. J. Brian Williams does it by more than 7 seconds over Danny Cutshaw. That'll close out the heat. Cutshaw will win his respective class. Meanwhile, over McLaughlin. McLaughlin got within 2 seconds of Danny Cutshaw for the checker flag after being behind one of the Stevens. Joseph Stevens is the DNF, by the way. Tom Stevens is the one who finishes in 4th. Mark Cirk in 5th, I should say. Jason Irvin in 6th. LeMasters and Whitaker, the rest of your running order, Taylor. And with that being in mind, the finals, well, they're in less than 12 minutes time, just like that, Taylor. Your thoughts entering the finals?
We're going to be seeing some exciting action in all these divisions, whether it be dominant performances or drivers who are going to be fighting tooth and nail to the finish, and it'll only be here in about a total of about 13 minutes.
Indeed. So we'll take a bit of a breather here. Let's take a look at the sights and sounds and get running for some break here. Less than 12 minutes away from the finals. It's a small break here on Kart Chaser.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I want to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like 20 bucks a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like 50 bucks a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all of the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars. Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead, follow, on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to Indy Kart and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
All the way up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? It's Sean Perez, who wins in Crescent. Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in K100 Junior. Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here. Told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Kart.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
The K1 Circuit Whiteland as we get ready to go racing for the finals. It's been an entertaining day so far for those just tuning in, as now we see how the drivers for the Micro Swift do battle on track. Just Prince Taylor Burris with you for this afternoon's racing coverage, all set to go for what will be 10 minutes plus 2 laps, Taylor. Should be interesting to see where the racing now fares out. It's a bit more tamer this afternoon in terms of flavor so far from the heat races.
It really has, Justin, and we're going to see it play out here amongst these 3 young future superstars in the Micro Swift category. And I got to say, I will keep an eye on Diesel. He may have something up his sleeve to go up against these 2 top kart drivers.
Yeah, there's a good opportunity for him to be able to move ahead here after a very solid start that really set the tone over Grayson White to be able to go ahead in the field. Looks like we're just about ready to go for today's action. The gates now open. It's time to go racing. Again, your lineup is simple. It's Fox, it's Maxwell, it's Wyatt, should say, who is going to be the way this field lines up here. To get the full lap to warm up, make sure their karts are ready to go, and be able to make sure they get a good fire off on those tires here. What are your keys to a good finals when it comes to this racetrack, Taylor?
Well, for this configuration that we're running here, it's all about just making sure you keep that momentum up, especially in these low-speed sections like we see right now. These S's, double S's, if you think about it. We have the first one coming through out of turn 1, 2, and 3. Then you have 5, 6, 7 before the tight hairpin. Not wanting to get that engine bogged down will be critical in order to make sure you can keep up the pace and hold your position or gain on your competitors.
Going extremely fast for the tram lines here. Green flag is out. We're underway, and look at this. Maxwell makes the pass on the outside with the fast start. So Diesel Maxwell looks to try and hold on. Fox will have to fight to try and get that race lead back quickly.
Absolutely, as the field works their way around the circuit here, and opening lap, Diesel Maxwell leads the charge, and this is going to get exciting to see how this all plays out for him. Can he hold off James Fox in these next 10 minutes?
That's going to be a tough challenge. We've seen 7 seconds picked up by Fox in the last race, remember, for this class. So it's going to be a very monumental task. Already ascend from several kart lanes deep. Fox nearly missed the corner he centered so hard, but makes it work for the lead. Maxwell makes contact with the number plate. Bounced off the 12 on the left side of Fox's kart, and there it is. Fox in the lead.
Fox in the lead indeed, and he will lead the charge by a significant margin, half a second right now at the moment. Grayson Wyatt right there also trying to see if he can keep pace with Diesel Maxwell to go and challenge, making it a top kart 1-2 here in this opening race.
8.5 minutes to go in this one. As they work their way down the straightaway, we'll see how big this gap goes for Fox. And again, this is all about being able to gain experience for the latter years over time. You want to be able to perform, and the higher you go in the rankings here, Taylor, the harder the ladder is. Remember, for these drivers, it's about learning. So once they move up in the ranks and move up higher and higher from the micro to a mini to etc., they're ready to go for that jump where it's going to be much more competitive potentially.
It really is going to be, and that's where these drivers have to be careful, learn, and apply what they have been taught when it comes to racing here, because it's only going to get more difficult the further up you progress. Of course, from the cadet categories in the 206s or the kid karts to the micros, then the minis, then KA, X30, shifter, and beyond. You are looking at a wide variety of different things that could be a potential learning opportunity or something that could cost you the chance of moving up.
Yes, indeed. And you have to learn in all stages of racing. If you stop learning, well, you stop developing as a race car driver. Potentially, well, people always have to learn to be able to move forward. So, continue on with the action here. Fox leading by more than 2 seconds here. This is going to be one of 6 finals here this afternoon. And mind you, Diesel Maxwell has been doing a very solid job here in this race. We mentioned him with the different look helmet throughout the season here when it comes to him. Looking to stand out from the crowd on the racetrack, one of the many AMAX racing machines. That team, working with plenty of different drivers during the afternoons, has been sharing a lot of social media posts too on their side as their drivers continue to zoom around the racetrack.
Absolutely. Of course, the last time James Fox, Grayson Wyatt were the 2 winners here, and Diesel Maxwell looking to try to see if he can also join the winner's circle here today, but it's going to be a little bit difficult as he's got a lot of work to try to catch up to James Fox at the moment. It's going to be a little bit more work. He's got to try to find that opening he needs and pick up a couple of more seconds here around this circuit, because that is where he is struggling big time right now. He is anywhere between a second to 2 seconds off the pace of your race leader here, and he is now 3 seconds behind as he comes around. Let's see what the gap is this time. It's now 4.8 seconds, but Grayson Wyatt is closing in and making a charge for second.
Slowly chewing up the gap here. Both of them nearly overdrove the corner on that shot, but still able to maintain. That's the key thing for the time being. As the gap is down to about 3-4 kart lengths. And right now, looks like Wyatt still preferring one thing. Go hard in, then exit out with the diamond line compared to the more, well, equally nuanced run that we're seeing in Maxwell's line through some of these corners.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit more sporadic for Maxwell on his lines compared to Wyatt right now, but Wyatt just has these better runs through the first half of the circuit right here, from turn 1 all the way just before they get to the back straightaway. Right here, he is where he struggles a little bit. Maxwell is able to get the power down a lot quicker compared to Wyatt in this section, as they clip the curb a little bit, do a little hop, and drag race their way down the back straightaway.
Yes, down and around they work. All around town, they rumble. Maxwell trying to play a bit defensive. All while Grayson Wyatt goes wide, nearly kicked off the track, nearly picked up the front 2 tires off the ground with the bobble. That cost him a ton of time as a result, so all the time gained is gone.
Yeah, it's now 0.6 of a second instead of 1/10 of a second between these two now, as we're under 5 minutes. Make it 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go for these 2 drivers. Fox, he's out for a Saturday afternoon drive at the moment.
Yeah, 7.4 seconds is a phenomenally large margin, to say the very least, right now in this field. But it's been kind of the status quo for Fox's day. Maxwell still holding on to the buffer for the time being. 3:24 to work with here in this race. We'll see what Grayson Wyatt is able to do to be able to chip away any more at this deficit here on the racetrack. This is going to be the tough thing, actually chewing away at the deficit.
I don't think there is going to be any chewing away from this deficit at the moment here. I think with him going off a little bit right there, getting some debris on his tire, it's not going to turn out well for Grayson unless we see Diesel Maxwell make a mistake between now and the end of the race.
Yes, indeed. You see the gap, still 5 kart lengths between them as they work their way around the facility. Still not close enough to be able to lunge forward. You seen something that I didn't see there, Taylor?
Yeah, Wyatt did pick up a bit, about half a second. He now picked up quite a significant margin. In fact, he set his personal best lap of the race right there. And he's going to try to make some moves forward, so let's see what he can do. He may find it, as Diesel Maxwell seems like his tires are starting to fade away a little bit here in these closing laps.
Yes, right now, the Salwell Fox continues to be a very quick driver around the circuit. 45-second lap times. He is definitely very comfortable in his kart, to say the least. The next nearest driver is 46 seconds on lap counts. That's about 6/10 at least. He's gaining per lap on average right now. That's just based on raw pace each and every time around. It's been very impressive what Fox has been able to do in all of his classes here today to be able to get himself some dominating races.
Absolutely, Justin, as we watch the leaders work their way through, and as second and third come across the line here, he just ran one of his slowest laps of the race, but still manages to be 0.2 faster than anyone in second and third at the moment. So that driver of James Fox looking to just continue on, back off a little bit, give him some breathing room, not make any mistakes, just hit your marks, continue to coast your way around the circuit, because he's got the time. 3 laps to go when he comes across the line.
Time ticks forward with 33 seconds to work with. Just continuing on to see what they can do. This time by an air 45.9 put up by Fox. Here's a look at the air battle. It is being chewed away a little bit between Maxwell and Wyatt. Not enough to be able to get fully up there yet. It's just marginal gains. And that 206, that we mentioned how difficult it is to close unless you get raw pace put down. Corners like that one yet again are why that is so hard to close up. You make big mistakes. Maxwell's right now making the 5 pay on those mistakes.
Absolutely, and Grayson has got to be careful with how much he's just overshooting the corner a little bit right here, so got to gather it back up. He gets a good run out of these final couple of corners, 2 laps to go. He may have a shot as he tries to show the nose on the inside of that Lando Norris kart. Across the front straightaway, 2 laps to go for Diesel Maxwell and Grayson Wyatt. Tries to send it in 1, not able to do it here, but really trying to get the pace, a 10th faster last time by.
Needs to be a little bit more quicker if he wants to be able to get alongside here. 5 having some hard time following tire track to tire track right now in the wake of Maxwell. Fox on his way to a white flag right now, all while Wyatt pushes hard to try and close up this gap even more. Can Maxwell hold on to second step of the podium? That's the question here. White flag is already up, final time around.
And both of them, actually, Diesel Maxwell sets his personal best lap right there as we watch James Fox leading the charge here, 10.9 seconds ahead of the competition. As he heads down into the final few corners, James Fox sweeping the weekend, getting pole, getting heat race wins in both classes, and the feature win.
Checker flag waves. James Fox gets the victory in Micro Swift. Does so in dominating fashion. A dominating win. Second spot come across the stripe in the backdrop. More than 10 seconds back, it is Maxwell and Wyatt. The top three is how they run in micro. It's running order top to bottom on that field, on how they get sorted out there. So that will bring us into our next grouping just like that. It's time for the minis. And now, here's the thing with minis. The minis last time out, can't confirm Martinez got 3 seconds, still beat the penalty. But Ari Berger was light in the scales, Taylor, so the 20 got a disqualification. They'll have to start at the tail.
Tough break there for Berger, as he will have a lot of work to do, but he's got the pace to have a shot of a podium finish here. I don't know about winning unless Blake Martinez makes some mistakes here on the opening lap, but he will go out there and put on a good show.
You're running over Martinez, Salmonellic, Heinzen, Jessup, Berger are the 5. We're now hitting the racetrack here for this pack. About ready to go for today. Should be a fun time to see what we do for this field as we get set for this group. Once again, remember these drivers in this age bracket. These drivers in the minis are 8 to 12 years old. Their kart's about 245 pounds is the weight size for these machines. So we'll get all sorted out and ready to go. We hope you're enjoying the action here on Kart Chaser. Be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying the action. If you're subscribed, congratulations! Getting to see this action live. Part of the members only. One of the many perks you get to be able to watch the racing live all across the nation when it comes to karting action. Slow roll now up to the start zone. As a train goes off in the backdrop, we look to see if we get a choo-choo train effect as they rumble their way to the start zone. They are being told to slow way down.
Don't want to looks like we're just the engine.
Yeah. Someone's gonna have to go. And that's going. Almost a standing start. Both of them are going back and forth on how they wanted to go there, as Martinez does hold serve Salmonellic to second.
He was able to hold it, but Blake Martinez charges away here at the start of the race and already stretched out to about 6 or 7 kart lengths right there as he comes across the line. Make it a good 6/10.
Interesting way to start things off, to say the very least, with the Razzmatazz, as Heinzen now in second spot on the racetrack. Berger has already gained 1 spot on Jessup as well to begin things, as Martinez tries to make a break for it. Breaks through on the right-of-liner section, off and away. Heinzen doing a solid job in second spot to try and close up the gap as much as he can here. Remember, Martinez is able to break away by almost 4 or 5 seconds in the first race of his day in this class. In fact, he sets the fastest time on the track, the 45.5s.
45.5 for the driver Blake Martinez, 6/10 ahead of Christopher Heinzen, who is right there in the mix, but got to be careful with how much he's able to push it, because he is losing more and more time. And in fact, it's going to be more than 6/10 of a second here when they come across the start-finish line.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Right now, as we continue on here, right now you see Salmonellic really trying to line things up within 2 or 3 kart lanes. He is trying to push and shove that kart forward. It's going the wrong way in terms of speed. He lost 2/10 trying to go and shake on the kart.
He certainly is, and that is not good. They are now over 3 seconds behind your race leader here.
Yeah, those 4 karts all lined up in a row. All choo-choo training around the racetrack with 7.5 minutes to work with here. And that's kind of like how we expected kind of some of this racing to fare out. These battle packs to form up just like this, to where you have similarly matched paced karts all match up together just like this. Simon Alec does not go off corner exits. He just got passed by the 20.
Yeah, he is dropped back to P4 right now. Ari Berger is now up to P3 with a beautiful pass right here, and he continues to go and chase down Christopher Heinzen right here. Top kart, oh, big slide right there. That will allow Simonelli to get his spot back.
Simonelli able to retake the spot, but for how long? Again, the zoom is just not there all of a sudden on the 187. Berger moves up to third. A lot of smoke kicking out of the Simon Alex kart through the hairpin corners. 6:37 to work with on the board here. Jessup is also in this conversation too. Yeah, something's gone sour on that 187 on fire off, because now every straightaway, everyone just closes up 5 kart lanes.
The only driver who has not passed him yet is Jackson Jessup. Sits there in the 5th spot. He is closing up, but not really picking up some time right here.
Yeah, you see him just getting frustrated almost in that kart with the way head keeps bobbing with what's going on through the straightaway speed on corner exits, on the long straightaways in particular. It's been a fight so far for Simon Alec, as there it is yet again. Bogs down yet again, slows down. Jessup not able to get the pace to get alongside in his respective kart. Jackson Jessup, meanwhile, just waiting for an opportunity to go. Jessup wants the drivers that were signed recently in the dirt side of things. Jessup from Westfield, Indiana, had an opportunity with Jim Motorsports. The 9-year-old has had experience racing in the OVKA in Ohio as well. So one of the drivers moving up in the ranks and now is in this fight for 4th spot. The drivers now moved away to the far side of the racetrack. Still plenty of time to rumble around the circuit as time progresses through this action. Oh, some trouble.
Big slide.
Berger.
That's Berger.
Did we hit the pit wall? Did we hit the pit wall?
Yeah, just the car back end just slipped out from underneath him, and as he tried to gather it back up, just slid through. That allowed Simonelli to once again retake that position. And as he does so, that he now loses a ton of time to Berger right there and has a lot of work to do. 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps. He may be able to catch back up, but it's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to close back up, I think, if you're the 20. Some are getting very lucky for this podium spot after the struggles right now popping up with that kart throughout this race. Under 4 minutes to work with, and Berger having some hard times now getting off the corner themselves here. Jessup has just been in the cusp of making a pass on somebody, just hasn't been able to do it. Martinez, by the way, his lead almost 7 seconds. It's just been station to station driving for the 38.
And it's going to continue to get its... Oh, actually, Christopher Hines picked up a significant margin. As look at the left rear right here. Is it down?
Yeah, I think it's low. Hearing there's issues with that left rear. And now it's the question, can that hold on? The tire is slid in on the axle, and that means your leader will have to go. The axle is now pushed in with the tire underneath the bumper, and Matt Martinez for the lead has a problem.
That will now give the race lead back over to Christopher Heinzen for the first time. Tough break for Blake Martinez, as now he tries to set sail. Leah Simonelli 2.5 seconds behind. Ari Berger right there as well.
Unbelievable. Martinez dominating the race by more than 7 seconds. Tire goes kaput. Axel sees the tire pushed in on it, and that completely changes the script of the point standings. Heinzen now able to take advantage. What a swing, and unfortunate for Martinez, but Heinzen in a prime opportunity to capitalize, just needs to drive it clean for 2 minutes plus 2 more laps.
Yeah, he's got to make it stick here and not have a single mistake. Here he comes across the line. Currently, as Simonelli, he's picking up a little bit of time. It's 2.3 seconds between Simonelli and Heinzen. And Simonelli is picking up some spots or positioning here as another slide right there by Heinzen. It's 45.8 to a 45.6.
Yeah, this right now looking like it's going to be Heinzen's race to lose with this interval, as long as nothing breaks on the kart. We've seen the commentator's curse already strike a couple times. The Kentucky-based driver Heinzen continues on here. Second year of competition for that driver. Been working very hard. MPG Kart recent times for him. So, 1 minute to work with in this race. 2.3 seconds, still the gap between first and second.
Oh goodness, this is going to get exciting here. Just about 4 laps to go for your leaders as we pick up Leah Simonelli in that all-black machine. Take a look at the exhaust right there, Justin. Could we see some engine issues arising?
I think we have been seeing some engine issues arise. It's been difficult on that kart so far for the 187 on the straightaways. Not sure what the exact issue would be in terms of the smoke, but it's been like that since really he went from contending up front to fading on the straightaways. He's gotten a little bit better, but the smoke's still there.
Either way, he picked up about 2/10 last time by compared to your race leader. The problem is he's just running out of opportunities to really catch up to your race leader of Christopher Heinz, and 2 laps to go this time by.
It's indeed running out of laps right now to turn. Heinzen still holding on in front. Berger still trying to push to try and get a chance for second. Simonelli did lose time as Heinzen continues to see his work pay dividends, being in the conversation all throughout this race. It's put him on the marks to be able to pounce for the race win here in this one. Just needs to go for a lap and a half to go.
Here he comes, and he tries to settle in here for the white flag momentarily. Heinzen just hitting his marks. Practically, even though anything is possible, this is a gift for him to come home with a checker flag, to be in this position, to be able to stay in second as they come through across the final couple of corners to start the final lap. We will see if Simonelli can try anything. He picked up 2/10, but it's no avail unless something happens with Heinzen.
Heinzen so far has been looking perfect on his run. Martinez couldn't only help but watch as the 157 slows down a little bit. Simonelli, though, not close enough to capitalize. Heinzen will take the checker flag. He'll get to celebrate a victory in Mini Swift. Simonelli in second spot. Berger rounds out the top 3. Jessup in 4th. Martinez, the top 5. Let's look once more at the field order here, Taylor. So far, 2 of your 6 complete in your finals here, as that did not go to plan for Martinez.
It really didn't, and unfortunately we have a little bit of issues to clean up. We have to go retrieve Blake Martinez, and could have been also for the reason why Elliot Semenelix was smoking. Possible carburetor was a little too rich for some of the oil and fuel that he was getting, so that could have been the reason, but still able to get a strong second place finish and practically close the gap between himself and Heinzen.
Big for the point standings. As these drivers still get in position to be able to get going. Touch bit behind the schedule now as a result of some of these stoppages popping up for these drivers. So here is the 206 Senior Medium lineup coming up here. It is Heber, it's McCorkadale, it's Nostman, followed by Burple and Pfister, Goldman, followed by Taylor and Davis. J. Brian Williams was due up in the 9th position, but did not take part in the heat race in the 75. We've seen how that worked out for the 75 in his later race on the schedule. So as these drivers get sorted, we're just still waiting for the cleanup here, Taylor. The top 2 is going to be interesting. McCorkadale, if he had another couple minutes, would have been right on the 8 for the race lead.
Well, he's about to get those couple of extra minutes here, and let's see what he can do to challenge Heber for the race win. There you see Blake Martinez, and there you see the axle popping out right there, that left rear tire.
Yeah, that obviously why his race fell apart. Started going to tire go, and then basically fall in on itself. After such a great start to the day for Martinez, not able to finish it out for a double top spot day. Once that kart's off the racetrack, these drivers should get the opportunity to roll here in their karts onto the racing surface to be able to battle it out in 206 Senior Medium. Thoughts on the racing action in general so far here, Taylor?
For the 2 categories we just had, it was a really good run. Some exciting finishes, I have to say, for our mini Swift category, and an unexpected winner with Christopher Heinzen, but a good one for the MPG camp, as they're looking to try to bring home a couple of more pieces of hardware here in the next few races as we get set. And there is the Blake Martinez kart, so should be any second before we release the 206 seniors out on the track.
They'll now get in position to be able to go as the kart is now off the racing surface. So we try and get back on the schedule for these teams and these drivers. Away we go. Once again, it's going to be Brandon Heber and McCorkadale to go through the order one more time. Nossman and Burpo, Pfister and Goldman, Taylor and Davis, the running order for this one. And it's going to be important for the 19 to get a clean start here, Taylor. We've seen him get swarmed the last start. What do you do to change things up knowing you're not the control kart for this restart? Or this start, should say.
You got to play your cards right here. Try to find a way to play a little mind games with them. See if you can get that good jump you need in order to try to steal it going into turn 1. But it's going to be a little bit of an interesting situation as McCorkadale and Heber will lead us to that green flag, and they try to outsmart each other.
Just about ready for the restart. For at least the day's action, I mean. This is the start for 206 Media. Corkendale will start from the outside, Hebert to the inside. All doubled up and ready to fire. Green flag is out. We're underway. Great start for Heber. McCorkadale already getting swarmed, but gets the preferred line to the hairpins to move up to second. Pfister nearly cleared for third. Nostman still holds serve for that spot.
That is what you do to try to save the opportunity for him. Now he can really have some room to work with and time to play with in order to go and hunt down Braden Heber for that race lead. Meanwhile, Nostman, Taylor, and Pfister all jockeying around for that third position, throwing Andrew Goldman into the mix as they try to snake their way through.
All trying to separate themselves out a little bit here. The top two staying mildly close. Remember, Corkadale was able to chip away the gap long run. Heber looked very good long run as well, has all throughout the day today. However, it was the 19 that was a touch bit quicker in the later stages of the 5 minutes earlier on in the day. So we'll see if this trend continues from earlier. The top two have already checked out by more than 2 seconds, Taylor.
Absolutely, and this is where we will see these two battle it out. Heber, a big slide, but McCorkadale also slides it through out of that corner. They gather it back up and will continue on their way here. We'll see how this all plays out amongst these two as they head into the braking zone of the hairpin. And we're going to see who can come out on top amongst these two. But so far, Heber is the one favorite right now. Let's see how it progresses as McCorkadale starts to reel him back in. Let's see what the times are as they come across the line. And it's going to be Heber. 44, and there it is right there. McCorkadale at 45.3, almost 2 faster.
10th of a second quicker on the pace, and now working his way through. He's within a kart length on the track. Briggs' Stratton engine continuing to fire off, and you hear those rooms around the track. But right now, McCorkadale really firing it off down through the straightaway, tries to close up through the corners. Heber doing a great job, still maintains the distance. No major gain up that time by.
No, there hasn't really been any major gain, but he is trying. He is just trying to see if they can just continue to pull away. They don't want to bring in Nostman, Pfister, or Taylor into this fight. There is a 5-horse battle for the race lead. If I was McCorkadale, you know you have the pace. Try to just keep pushing away from them, wait till those final 2 laps, and make the move.
A little bit of a look back. McCorkadale just making sure where the rest of the field is right now. They have more than 4 seconds over the rest of the pack. McCorkadale now picking up the urgency a little bit to be able to chip away even more so. Got within under a kart length to the number 8 number plate. Now it's under a quarter all the way to the bumper. Just about gave a shot to the back end of Heber to push him forward. Corkadale, I think, just waiting for the right opportunity to go here, Taylor. It's the question of when does he go?
He's got to find his way, find that opening quickly if he wants to try to pull away, but he is really putting the power down and has the speed to do it. He's just got to find it and make it work.
He's got to find a way to do it is the key word, yes. Or the key words you can really say. But with 6 minutes to work with, that's how big the interval is. You have to separate out for a good 5 seconds plus in terms of the count before you see the drivers in the corners, at least 3 corners ahead as they rumble. Nostman is holding on to 3rd spot comfortably. Pfister is right now comfortably also holding on to the top 4 with Taylor in 5th. 7 karts did take the green flag in this race out of the field here. So, the battle for 3rd looks pretty secure for now, at least for the 573. Keep in mind, Pfister did close up 2/10 last time by.
Here they come through, and this is a good fight. Nostman trying to hold off Pfister and Taylor as they try try to work their way through. 5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. And Nossman doing a great job. Eber, though, responds to McCorkadale as he was just a tick faster last time by. The gap is 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, just trying to chip away. At least is Pfister. Kemi Pfister. So far looking decent in this run. You see him ducking in. Now Pfister in the line. One of the many go-kart racers, Kemi Pfister. The nickname Purple Beast when it comes to Kemi and her performances, their performances should say, on the racetrack. So far looking very solid to close on up with 4 minutes to go.
Here they come through as we keep an eye. Eber and McCorkadale working their way through, but for Pfister, putting that pressure on Nicholas Nossman is an incredible feat that we're seeing here. And tries to find the opening, tries to cross him over a little bit. Not close enough to make it stick here, but we'll try on the back straightaway.
Just trying to do something, anything. All while the race leaders look like this. Corkadale still within 2 kart lengths of Heber. It's about the same when it comes to the battle for third. Back to the race leaders we go, though. Heber maintaining. They are near even on pace still as they turn on the racetrack. Last time by, McCorkadale lost a 10. They keep trading 10s back and forth like you would see at any sort of racetrack on an oval. These two keep on trading it back and forth.
And lap traffic up ahead. This could open the door for McCorkadale to utilize that lap car as a pick. Mike Davis, though, gets out of harm's way and allows these two to race.
Under 3 minutes to work with. Now, it's going to be difficult for McCorkadale to get this done unless he's forcing the pressure. Just waiting and waiting, plotting and planning. The plotting and planning stage just continuing on here, Taylor. You can feel that sense of urgency starting to rise up for the 19.
It is because he has been running faster laps than Eber here recently, but I think McCorkadale knows what he's doing. He is a veteran of this series and of this track here, knows every trick in the book to think about to get around here, but so does Eber. He is just ready to pounce, and here he goes to the outside. He sets himself up for a run on the inside into turn 1, and McCorkadale finally gets the race lead.
Corkadale takes it away. Now it's the question, does Hebert try and go for the switchback? Does he try and trade back the lead quickly? Minute 50 to work with on the clock. Yes, he tries a small poke. Not able to get alongside yet. Hebert tries to tuck in. Tries to fall behind as McCorkadale has the bumper flop around. That bumper is starting to almost shake loose on the 19, it looks like.
Here's that battle further back for third between Nossman, Pfister, and Taylor, who has caught back to back. Not the lap car of Mike Davis. Apologies on that. This one of Kemi Pfister, though, putting on the pressure as we go back up to the front of the field. Corkadale trying to throw the blocks needed to keep Eber behind.
Yeah, another poke around by Hebert trying to get a good angle on the lineup. Corkadale's raw speed on the long run starting to really tick on ahead in this race to be able to move him forward. There's the air battle going on for third. Pfister looking for a chance to get on the podium. She looks towards the right side. Now pokes back to the left on the switchback. Pfister takes the top 3 away.
Laps to go from McCorkadale here. Braden Hebert trying everything he can to put pressure on him as well. Here comes Hebert. He'll show the nose again into the corner. Not able to make anything work just quite yet. Down the back straightaway. Does he show the nose again and try to make the pass here? No. He's going to stay tucked up behind as we come to get the popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go.
2 more circuits coming around here. As we look at the battle for the race lead, Heber all over the rear end, trying to provide the pressure, trying to find a way to get around as McCorkadale holds on in front. Marching their way to the corner, curb being taken by Heber. Heber now tries to run over the number plate of McCorkadale. He's been trying to swoop around in the middle portions of the track, try and find anything. Heber not close for the lunge, stays equal. McCorkadale with a lap and a half to go.
Here comes McCorkadale to try to hold on. Heber, though, tries to push the envelope just a little bit here as they come through the final corner to get the white flag. McCorkadale, here comes Heber down to the inside, shows the nose, plots back into place. Can't quite make it work as they come through the F's, snaking their way through. Or McCorkadale holds his line and white lines it around the circuit. Heber trying to push the envelope. Will he shove it down the inside and make it work? Not quite yet. He's going to have to wait and try down on the back straightaway. He shows the nose again. Can't quite make the pass work either there. Down the back straightaway, shows the nose inside. Will he send it in deep? He will try to. Almost makes contact. Crossover. McCorkadale has the advantage as they come out of the final couple of corners. And for Evan McCorkadale, he will respond in favor, but here comes Heber. It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. Side by side to the line, it is going to be McCorkadale ahead by just 1 or just under 0.2 of a second there ahead of Braden Heber.
A drag race at the very end of the race breaks out as the 19 is able to hold on one of the closer finishes of the day. McCorkadale able to hold on after the late attempt to pass back by Heber. Pfister gets on the podium. Nossman in 4th. Taylor, Goldman, and Davis. The rest of the running order in 206 Senior Medium. Well done. It looks like the 19 may have had the engine shut off. Had to get a little push down the hillside to get to the tech shed there. The 19 tries to get it recranked. But that brings us into our next portion, 206 Junior. It's due up next. And here's the big thing coming up with the 206 Juniors. I think, Taylor, that's going to be very notable. Evan Patton, he got a disqualification from the last finish, it appears. He did not pass tech. So Jordan Lapham ended up officially with the W over Carson Benjamin and Parker Dunn in the heat race.
Well, that will change everything here for these competitors, and we will see how this all plays out for him as we get set to go racing here in your 206 Junior final as they work their way around here. But Lapham going to have some work to do here as one driver almost goes a little too wide right there.
A little bit of a moment there, but nothing too major. But 206 Junior just about geared up and ready to go here. Again, it's going to be Lapham, it's Benjamin, Dunn, and Santos. Wade and Stewart, followed by Clevey and Patton. Be the last of the drivers set to start here in this running order. Drivers already being told to slow down fairly early this time to be able to double up for this start. Looks like we are almost set to go. 206 Junior ready to do battle on the racetrack. Patton with that DQ and a big hole potentially in the point standings. We'll see how the end of the day fares out for them. They're losing 50 points. Green flag is out. 3 wide to start. Multiple bits of contact. 4 wide off the corner exit. And a wild start to the race.
This is going to get exciting here as the field works their way through and it's starting across the line. And it's going to be the 7 of Parker Dunn who will lead us here to the green flag.
Dunn able to get through all the chaos to start things off. But for how long will he be able to hold on? Benjamin and Wade amongst the top three. Patton's already shot up inside the top four out of the 7 on track. Now he's looking to go side by side. No, that's not going to work there. Gets back single filed out. Up front, Benjamin looking for the lead. Late arcs up the track. Dunn tries to cross him back up. Benjamin moves up as Patton continues to try and battle hard for the 3rd position.
So far, so good here as they continue to do battle. And right here, Parker Dunn drops back. Here comes Carson Benjamin to lead the charge once again as they come through the S's. And Nolan Wade with the 40. Patton 4th. Lathan has already moved inside the top 5.
All sorts of battling still as Dunn tries to retake the race lead. Top 2 broken away by more than a second. That's not going to last like with the way things are looking. Benjamin getting a lot of zoom down the straightaway this time to be able to get some buffer away. Patton stuck in place, has not been able to find a way around the 99 of Nolan Wade yet.
See what Nolan can do here. Parker Dunn, Evan Patton all jockeying around for position here. Nolan Wade is going to get that pressure from Patton as here comes Lathan as well, looking to try to make some moves right here.
Right now trying to find a way to carve ahead. It's been a battle to be able to find your way forward all day. Here's look up front. Benjamin continues to push ahead. Both of them using a lot of arc to the right of the liner section to be able to get some good momentum built for the corner. The 98, remember, second step of the podium earlier on today. And now seems to have the speed to at least maintain in front of Dunn. This time around, we'll see where the speed charts go. They go the way of Dunn by a few 100ths of a second.
Dunn doing everything he can in order to try to get pressure back on to Carson Benjamin as that new twin machine is trying everything. As a little side-by-side action heading into the corner. That would have been a little too close for comfort. I believe that was Santos and Cleveland right there. Maybe Santos and Lathan.
That was Lathan indeed involved in that. Wade getting moved back in that situation. He was the other card involved. Already to the top 3 is Patton with his charge through the pack now. As they continue on with the racing around here at K1 Circuit Whiteland. Under 7 minutes to work with for 206 Junior. Right now, Lapham up a couple spots, but Evan Patton up 5. -3 actually for the 112 machine so far. Benjamin starting to stretch it out. Gained 3/10 last time by here, Taylor.
He is gaining some time here, and that is a big one right here for Carson Benjamin to pull away now, and he is starting to try to get himself settled into a rhythm at the moment, really trying to not push the envelope to where he can burn off his tires right now, just enough to where Parker Dunn can not have enough of a draft to help keep him up the pace.
Still 6 minutes to work with. Fastest lap, Lapham. Lapham with a 45.8 to blister ahead here. The problem is he's got a lot of carts to have to pass here. If he wants any shot of the race lead, he's got Patton, who's already giving hand signals once again to sort things out. There's a look, and it looks like the signals are accepted this time. No issues from Lapham to push Patton to be able to close back up to Parker Dunn.
How about this fight right here as we keep an eye on Parker Dunn, Patton, and Lapham as Lapham is trying to close back up. But here comes Patton with a big run to the inside, trying to see if he can set himself up for a chance at second place here. Can't quite make it work yet, but he is putting the pressure on.
Absolutely right now. Here's a look at the Sen. Lapham gets alongside. Has to single file out once again. Wrong spot to Sen, and Dunn already feeling the footsteps, goes defensive. Now the send up the inside, Patton gets cut off. Dunn blocking the lanes aggressively.
Big time aggressive block right there as he tries to gather it back up. Patton is trying everything he can, but Lapin really being aggressive and trying to find the opening he needs.
Poke up the inside again. Another cutoff. Dunn getting uber aggressive now with these blocks. He will not back down to hold on to second. He wants second at all costs. A push-up now by Patton. That checks things up with him and Lapham as they reset once again. How defensive will Dunn get this time? He goes middle. Patton goes lower. Patton sends it up the inside. Moves his way to second as Dunn gets moved back into a fight for third.
Big time fight as here comes the driver of Patton now working up to third. But how about Jordan Lapin? Now he'll cross over to the inside of Parker Dunn. Drag race to the start-finish line. And he may try to get the pass. He does. Move him up to P3.
So Lapham able to move up. Dunn moved all the way back to the fourth position after that initial start to this one. Benjamin now up big here, Taylor. And that's the downside to some of the battling, is you end up having those huge margins that break out. But Dunn was fighting hard. That was the highest he ran all day. Patton up 6 with 3 minutes to go.
He has been on the charge here for quite a distance here, and is now going to try and hunt down Carson Benjamin. With 3 minutes plus 2 laps, he may have a shot to catch him. Passing's another one, though.
That's going to be the tough thing. Very tough thing right now. They're near even on the pace when it comes to their momentum right now. Last time by, both of them were in the 46 flats on the racetrack. That's not going to get it done. Remember, the fastest lap time is only 2/10 quicker for Lapham in the field here today. 2:30 to work with as we continue to watch on with Wade. Now looking as the 99 tries to hold off Santos. Santos a -2 on the race, looking to recover some.
So watching now as they come across the line, it's 2.5 seconds. Patton has picked up about 1/10. That's not really enough. Lapin sets fastest lap of the race so far, but he is 2.8 seconds back. I think right now with Carson just hold station right now, he may be okay, but it's going to be still a tough ask unless Lapin is able to find a way to get around Patton quickly.
Yeah, right now, it's going to be the tough thing is trying to get this move done quickly. There's the close-up by Santos. Good corner exit to be able to get to the rear end in one of the AMAX entries. Takes a look. Saw it off on the nose by Wade with under 2 minutes to work with. Looking up the road, Patton and Lapham. They've only closed up a couple tenths there. Last time by, Lapham was actually quicker than the 861 Kart.
Lapham trying everything he can. He's going to put the bumper to him a little bit right here and tries to work his way through. And tries to cross him over a little bit. Can't quite make it work.
Still can't find a way around with 40 seconds to work with. Looking like we're getting about 2 laps to go when we get to the stripe base of the time. Maybe close on that. We'll have to see. Another chance to be able to lunge ahead. Lapham trying to find a way on the poke. Pulling away again is Patton. Patton with a good setup in the first sector.
Good little fight right here between these battle for second place. Patton trying everything he can to hold on here in the closing stages. But here comes Lapham with an early set. And can he make it work? No. He's going to have to stay tucked up behind here with 2 to go here as they come to the final couple of corners. Benjamin just out of harm's way pretty much from this battle as he tries to get to stay consistently through here and not have a single mistake. comes across the line. They're half a second faster last time by, but still not good enough to make a charge over the race lead.
Two laps already taken now. More hand signals popping up once again from Patton. For Benjamin, gonna be a happy run. Put himself in a great position in both these races. Solid pace, took advantage of penalties in the first race to get the second, but in this one today had the great track position to start and a better run to be able to take away the race lead and pull away once he took said lead. White flag is out, final time around.
Here they come through the corner here, and it's going to be exciting to see what they can accomplish as the field works their way around the circuit. And I gotta say, for Carson Benjamin, looking to capitalize on a chance of getting through and some penalties that happened that prevented some drivers to be up towards the front of the field as he tries to work his way through. It's down to 1.4 seconds. It's gonna be too little, too late for Patton and Lathan as they come out of the final corner.
Checker flag waves. Benjamin closes out the day with a race win. Carson Benjamin wins in 2:06 junior. Drag race per second. Patton hold on by 3/1000ths of a second. A phenomenal finish for second. Parker Dunn in fourth. Nolan Way to the top five. Santos, Glebe, and Seward. The rest of the running order in this one, Taylor.
I mean, absolutely an incredible drive by Carson Benjamin. Lathan tried everything he can, but unfortunately just starting towards the tail end, running out of time is what cost him the chance of coming home as the victor.
And that's a look at how our fourth final of the day goes here today. KA Senior and Masters. Due up next as these drivers now make their way off the track. Our next group is getting the command to open them gates. Or almost. It looks like there's some communication being made first for the gates fully open up. Now we open them up. So up note, Blake Finley got a disqualification from the KA Seniors in the last race. He'll start at the tail. Austin Olds and Lane Gibbs, though, are on the front row, Taylor. So we'll see how things go here in this one of note. Lane Gibbs can confirm, did get a 3-second jump start penalty, but despite that penalty, still finished behind Olds on the interval by under 3 seconds with that factored in. Your thoughts here as Olds now has the track position that he gained very rapidly, Taylor, in 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it just basically, unless something happens to Austin Olds, it's going to be a battle for second place. Austin knows how to get around the circuit. He knows how to manage the gaps and keep on a good show. But who knows, maybe he may just take it easy and put us on for a little bit of a fun race here toward the end.
Just seeing the photo of the drag race, by the way, from the timing. It was within inches for that other spot by 3/1000 that we just mentioned with Patton. An unreal finish to that one last time out. But it's time to see how this field finishes out. Olds with a great launch. We're underway. And a good run for Olds to start side by side between Gillen and Gibbs. Gillen jumps up the second.
And Austin Olds leads the charge. Santos second. Lane Gibbs, Simonellic, Blake Finley, your top five. And Joshua Nelson just need to be on cruise control there and be there to collect the win in your KA Masters.
Great start to the race here for Olds as he's already making some adjustments here to the radiator. Set for second. Gibbs inside. Makes the pass smoothly. Able to make the move. That is Santos. That's up there rather than Gallon. Pardon me. So an impressive run to start as we see the rest of the field run through. Gibbs down 1.2 seconds already. The fight seems like it's going to be on for second for much of this race.
Absolutely a good fight here as Gibbs and Santos jockey around for position, but Gibbs is able to power his way through and pull away now by about 2 kart lengths over Santos. Finley has a little bit of work to do. He's 3.8 seconds back, and the big slide right there for Gibbs.
Huge slide through the corner as they work their way around the track. Still 8 minutes to work with as we hear the sights and sounds around K1 Circuit Whiteland. Right now, Gibbs lined on up and focused. By the way, Nelson has pulled back in terms of his interval around the racetrack. He's already dropped 8 seconds back of the overall lead. Lane Gibbs, by the way, one of the drivers that has some experience R&D consulting. Pittsburgh, Indiana is where that driver's from MPG Motorsports. Signed on with the organization for 2025. Then, with how things have gone, finished 18th, Route 66 competition last time out. Now looking at some of the air battles on track. K1 now moving his way ahead over Salmonelic. Nelson is also back there in that group as well on the racetrack. These drivers losing about a second or two per lap to the overall race leader of Austin Olds at the moment. Still 7 minutes to work with on the racetrack now as they continue on with the clock. And right now, bit of a send by Salmonelic, nearly sent into the barriers. Kevin having to be careful there, Taylor. Almost sent it too deep.
He certainly did almost send it too deep as he tries to gather himself back up and continue on. But as we watch this battle right around the 5th, 6th position, Dane Van Dyke, Blake Finley, Macy Galen all trying to jockey around for position right here. A little bit of breathing room for some of them as they try to gather themselves back up and set a run out. But it's going to be a tough one right here as Blake Finley tries to find a way to recover after the penalty.
Yeah, right now, Finley doing a good job on the recovery. Give him credit. To be able to get up to 4th spot, but is not really in range unless he pushes hard to be able to get to 3rd spot at best, maybe, is where it looks like it's going to be the case within 2 seconds. Still keeping an eye on Nelson. Give Nelson credit too. Able to race here today. Last time out, the rain really putting a factor into being able to race, obviously, Taylor. A bit more sunnier than the last time out. And now it looks like he'll be able to score some good points for the Masters to be able to get himself a championship points lead.
Absolutely. Weather conditions a whole lot more enjoyable compared to the second round of the championship a few weeks ago. So just now for the driver of Joshua Nelson, just keep it clean. Don't make many mistakes. Maybe go out there, try a couple of things different to prepare yourself for when the next couple of KA Masters come out onto the track and see what you can do. So that way you can have a shot of maybe going for another win this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a look at your race leader, by the way. Olds with a very sizable margin around the racetrack as we go. It's more than 2 seconds over Lane Gibbs. We talked about him with the Stars. He's been shining brightly. The Stars series going to be next time into the racetrack in early June. And actually going to be in the region, Newcastle, I believe, for those drivers. So, going to be a busy time in the region coming up for Austin Olds over the next month or so. As he continues on with the national schedule, you also have Scusa coming up in the next couple weeks too. National schedule is getting very busy pretty soon.
We're about to head into the summer months, so it's just going to be full on pedal to the metal for every single one of these kart drivers here, whether they're running in their club championships, such as here at Whiteland, or it could be for those who are running the regional series like Stars Championship or the Route 66 or the Texas Sprint Racing Series, or it could be for one of the major national series like the United States Pro Kart Series or the SCUSA Pro Tour.
Your domination is there's Gibbs yet again, and they're one of the drivers that you'll see team-wise at least the national scale. But looking back, our side of the racetrack, here's a look at the battling still. You have Galen still holding on. You have Simonovic, you have Nelson in the conversation. Macy just doing her thing right now in front with the pink helmet. 3 minutes to work with in this one.
Right now, Olds is currently running now, just backing off, saving, conserving his tires. He's got a 2.2 second lead. Gibbs ran his fastest lap of the race just now. So we'll see how this plays out. But I think for right now, Gibbs and Olds just going to settle in, get to the finish of this race, and then it's going to be watching between Santos, Finley, and Dane Van Dyke here for this battle for the final step of the podium.
Absolutely at this point. See everyone watching with intrigue across the racetrack as these battles fare out. Again, the battle on screen, still one of the closest on track right now with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to work with here in the KA100 Seniors and the Masters. All near contact there for a moment as Olds still works his way around the racetrack on the other side of the facility in dominating fashion. And how helpful are races like this for the national level in terms of preparation, would you say, Taylor? Taylor.
It's important because it helps, as we see a big slide right there by Olds, but it's a big help to where it can help them learn certain driving responsibilities, learn certain ways how to race around lap traffic possibly. And just like we saw Olds making an adjustment on the fly, maybe even help them with learning how to make an adjustment like that on the track in case they need to.
Indeed. Still coming up to the minute mark in this one. I have noticed one thing throughout the day I will give a shout out to. That run back to the back straightaway has almost been like a jump for these drivers with how much the elevation change moves its way from the infield to the outfield, so to speak. These drivers have had to battle their way to that elevation change all day with that lift it gives to these karts with the speed they're carrying.
Yeah, absolutely. They are really, we'll get a better look at it here when they come down, when Austin comes down the back straightaway once again. Got a little bit of lap traffic up ahead of him as we watch Lane Gibbs closing in closer and closer, 1.4 seconds. As we go back a little further to the battle for third, a little tap of the helmet there from Santos. As Blake Finley, Dane Van Dyke and company all try to jockey around for position. But here comes our leaders right here. And actually this is Galen Simonelik in the hunt, so apologies on that. But we'll see how this plays out. A really good fight amongst these competitors as they jockey for positions. Olds now has only a second advantage, and looking at the times right now, Lane Gibbs has closed in quickly. He sets fastest lap of the race with 3 laps to go.
Coming around. 2 laps to go coming up for the field next time by. That's how big the margin is, by the way, for Olds. Keep in mind, though, that interval is shrinking because Gibbs is within a second or so. That lead was almost 2 seconds, so Gibbs has been finding something to close up lately. It's under half a second now. What's going on with Olds' kart?
I have no idea. I've been trying to figure that out myself as I've been watching his kart. His kart seems to be fine, but he also been making a lot of adjustments every time he's on the back straightaway. I don't know if he's just taking it easy, allowing Gibbs to close in and make it a little interesting for us, or actually he is struggling with certain issues with his kart right now, because here Lane Gibbs comes with a big run down the final couple of corners. They're going to take the white flag this time by.
Final time around. This time it stabilizes a bit at just under half a second gain, or rather deficit. Gibbs trying to make things interesting. He won't reach lap traffic likely. Now Gibbs over the back end within a kart length. He's closed up from 20 back over the course of the past 5 laps. Olds goes defensive. Gibbs pokes on the outside. Tries to go for the cross-up. Olds parks the bus through the second hairpin. Now Gibbs alongside. One more chance for a dive. Olds keeps it standard. Gibbs has the pole, side by side to the checker flag. Olds just holds on by 16 one-thousandths of a second.
How about that right there? Austin Olds barely holding on to beat out Lane Gibbs. Raider Santos will come home P3, as keep an eye on the rest of the field. Blake Finley, Dane Van Dyke, but I will say that battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th is going to look pretty good as well. They're all closed in, as here comes Macy Galen and Kevin Simonellik as they come across the line here momentarily. And as they work their way through, here they come. And Galen will hold out.
Olds had been leading by more than 2 seconds at one point in this race. It ends up going down to 16 one-thousandths at the very end of our penultimate final of the day. Unreal way to just about cap things off today, but we still have one more race to go, and involves the Supermasters and the Legends. J. Brian Williams and his Legends machine has looked very dominant today. They'll start up on the pole for this one. Danny Cutshaw start in second. William McLaughlin and Tom Stevens are in the top 4. Row 3 features Mark Cirk and Jason Irvin. Then Richard Lemasters and Chris Whitaker. Joseph Stevens rounds out the running order. This is the last race of the day, Taylor. How do you feel about this one as we get ready to go?
Well, for the 206 Legends, I think it's safe to say that one's going to be one that's going to be wrapped up pretty well. We saw how strong our holster was for this event. The 206 Masters, though, that's going to be one to watch here, as they have been pretty close with each other from start to finish. I got to say, we're going to have a good fight possibly on our hands after these next 10 minutes plus 2 laps.
So we get ready to see what happens here for this field as we just about get ourselves ready to go racing for 206 Master and the 206 Legends. For our field, Supermasters and Legends ready to let it rip here at K1 Circuit Whiteland. We get all bunched up here for the final time today. Slow roll this time to be able to make that start zone. Keeping it nice and careful as they get themselves ready to launch. They're all lined up on the outside. All set to go. Green flag is out. And we're underway. A good start by Cutshaw on the outside. But it's J. Brian Williams who clears on by already. Good pick-me-up for the 75. His pole way up to 5 kart lengths already.
Williams just picking up where he left off after qualifying and the heat race earlier today. And he will continue to lead that race here momentarily. Cutshaw, though, has to deal with the pressure from McLaughlin as he tries to hold on to position as those three try to break away from the rest of the competition.
Field just settling itself in. Cutshaw and McLaughlin going to be the interesting battle potentially to watch here, especially if McLaughlin can get some clean laps together in the 56. Close up the gap 9 minutes to work with. Remember, those two in Supermaster were very close in the qualifying session on pace. The race, it's been a bit of a different story, to say the very least. Two of the other legends, Circuit Irvin, 4th and 5th as they run. 46.8 for J. Brian Williams. He is gone.
Yeah, he is just absolutely lights out ahead of the competition, already stretched out to a 1.5 second lead as we watch the rest of the field through. Good little fight here in your 206 Legends and as well the 206 Supermaster division as we go up to the battle for the Supermaster lead between Cutshaw and McLaughlin. As there you see those two battling it out. Irvin and Stevens trying to see who will come out on top for that position in 5th.
Still separated out between those drivers, though. See a big gap between the two of them. Not so big gap as this one. This is for Supermasters in its class lead. McLaughlin able to close out 4 or 5 kart lanes in recent laps here to get back into the conversation. Now it's going to be the matter of seeing, does that now last to close things up amongst the two of them? This is going to be fun.
Fun fight here for the battle here in the Supermaster division as the field works their way through out of the final couple of corners. A lot of positions up in the air as they work their way through, but for Williams already checking out by over 3 seconds as he crossed the line. McLaughlin still about a kart length.
Still looking for a place to go to be able to send it alongside here. No place to poke around. That's the problem. Cutshaw doing a good job cutting off the lines, even though he's trying to give a little bit more arc on entry. That's actually helped him over McLaughlin. McLaughlin falling back a little bit in the order. Under 7 minutes to work with in this one. Cutshaw continuing to just drive his line. Tough thing right now, Taylor, is going to be McLaughlin. Anytime he gets close, it looks like Cutshaw just finds an error, a little bit of something to separate out that little bit and then pull away on the buffer. And that's going to be the tough thing, actually closing up, maintaining that time that you've gained, and being able to try and pounce for a pass here for this class lead.
Absolutely, just trying to find the opening he needs in order to come out on top with this fight. As these two battle it out, it's going to be critical to see what he can do in order to try to pull this pass out for position. So far, not working to his advantage as we see a pass further behind as Mark Kirk and Tom Stevens battle for position overall.
Absolutely. Coming up to midway through this race on time now. Tom Stevens, by the way, has passed by Mark Cirk in the backdrop, so there has been one swap there. The 8 machine able to move ahead and get themselves up to the 4th spot. It's a good recovery for that machine from the back of the grid. So far, able to move ahead a couple spots this race. We have had a swap. McLaughlin has passed Cutshaw. He did so in the first hairpin. McLaughlin now in the race lead, and he is running away quickly.
He is starting to run away indeed, and he has stretched it out to several kart lengths here towards the end of this race. Can we see, or McLaughlin pulls away, can Cutshaw respond in these closing minutes? It's going to be a tight order for him, but he's going to try to see what he can do. Last time by, the gap between the two, not of a very significant margin. Almost 6/10 separated those two.
Huge separation on the racetrack right now as they continue. All of this is with Cutshaw trying to find a way to cut now inside. He's going a lot more shallow on the racing lines now that he has someone in front of him, and he's losing ground in bunches. Cutshaw going the wrong way and fast with 4 minutes to work with. McLaughlin is running fast. Last time by, 3/10 quicker. then Danny Cutshaw on the racetrack as he pulls away in this one. McLaughlin doing a stellar job now to be able to secure things.
Absolutely, and McLaughlin is starting to pull away further and further from Cutshaw. Even though Cutshaw has picked up a little bit here and there, it's not enough compared to what McLaughlin's been able to do.
Yeah, not enough. And that's the tough thing right now is when you know you need something and there's not much you can do except go on for the ride and hope for the best, there's not much you can do when you control things. J. Brian Williams, he's been in control from the start of this race. He has been outright dominant throughout the day in this class and throughout this afternoon, really. He is right now 1 second quicker than the rest of the field. It has been knockout quick speed from the 75 all day.
Oh goodness, this is going to be exciting to see here as we watch these two. But there you see Mr. Brian Williams was out for a Saturday afternoon drive. And here comes McLaughlin and Cutshaw. 10.5 seconds and continuing to lose ground on Brian Williams. As those two will come across the start-finish line. The gap between them now 1.2, possibly going to be about 1.5 seconds across the line as McLaughlin sets his fastest lap. Then Cutshaw responds with his fastest lap.
Yeah, Cutshaw 3/10 quicker, in fact, than McLaughlin, but here's the downside. He's already down 1 second to the 56. He's going to need to do that every lap until the end of this one, in theory, if he's going to have a chance to be able to get up to the 56 now, with under 2 minutes to work with on the board. So we'll see what Cutshaw can do, more upright in position compared to what McLaughlin is in the seat at the moment for those curious. They make their way through, this time by. That's another 10th gain, not enough for Cutshaw. He needs more.
Yeah, he needs quite a bit more right there. He is making small gains, but that is not enough with a minute and a half to go.
Continues to try and find a way to chip away. About 1 minute to work with on the clock here. J. Brian Williams dominating station to station. He has already lapped Whitaker, by the way, on the racetrack as they go. For those curious how far the 75 has gotten on the track, you see the shuffle ahead by 5-6 kart lengths still is the gap between the two of these drivers. We've been keeping an eye on their battle. Can they find a way? Can Cutshaw find a way to chip even more? He gets within an 2 kart length. Now he gets within a couple kart lengths to the corner. Nearly into the grass is McLaughlin. McLaughlin raises his hand in frustration as Cutshaw's in position.
Here they come, and here comes Cutshaw. He's trying to cross them over a little bit right here as they come out of the second hairpin. Can't quite make it work. Lap traffic also up ahead for your race leaders in the Supermasters.
That lap traffic helps separate things back the way of McLaughlin's direction. He's going to be happy for now, but Cutshaw, he's very quick right now through Sector 1. McLaughlin trying to make sure he doesn't make the same mistake again. This time, Cutshaw is the one who makes the mistake in that section. Lost a lot of time having to lift off the throttle. Coming around to a couple laps to go. 3 laps already shown on the boards. Can Cutshaw close up in the right spot and maintain it to be able to try and go for a send here? 2 laps to go.
Coming to 2 laps to go here as they come out of the final corner. Can anyone respond? McLaughlin is doing what he needs to do here as they head down over towards the first couple of corners. He's got plenty of breathing room for the time being. And he was a good 0.3 of a second faster last time by than your second place driver in Supermasters.
Right now, Cutshaw is in prime position to pressurize a mistake possibly for McLaughlin. McLaughlin going more shallower on corner entry. Last time by Cutshaw was 1 second off his personal best. They have really fallen off up front, but it's already the final lap for J. Brian Williams. J. Brian Williams has been lights out this entire race, has not fallen off too much, only 4/10 on the fall off, just now entering the 46-second bracket. The Legends driver will make his way through the final corners here to be able to dominate his class. J. Brian Williams coming to take the checker flag, will take the victory by a sizable margin of more than 16 seconds over McLaughlin and Cutshaw.
I gotta say, there might be some issues right there with William McLaughlin and Cutshaw. We'll have to wait and see as they come across the line. Does Cutshaw get the position over McLaughlin? Here they come. Cutshaw does get McLaughlin.
Cutshaw got him. Cutshaw got him. Curious what happened to McLaughlin as he is now falling down the pylon, believe. So something happening to the 56, Taylor.
Yeah, he has fallen down, and I'm trying to see. Yeah, he had an off somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye. He's one lap down at the very end. J. Brian Williams over Danny Cutshaw, Tom Stevens, Mark Cirque, Jason Irvin, William McLaughlin, Richard Masters, and Chris Whitaker. The running order in this one. Here, Taylor. Overall, though, what are your thoughts on the day here with the racing?
Absolutely incredible day of racing here today. It was a fun one and an exciting one, especially right here to the very end with our Supermasters.
Indeed, we'll see how these drivers fare out, but remember, the next time out for these competitors, it'll be at the end of May. Be sure to tune in here on Kart Chaser. We're live then, but until next time, it's time to say goodbye. For everyone a part of our crew today, for Trevor Blue, for Ian Boley, for Connor Hedge, for Will McLeodich, I'm Justin Prince, saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You've been watching the Indy Karting Challenge for K1 Circuit Whiteland here in Whiteland, Indiana. Good night.